So the tip-off, it's Miami. So here's Miami's starting group. Dang and Bosch are the 3 and 4. Dragic is out there with Dwayne Wade. And it's Whiteside in at the 5 down low. Bosch, that's for 2. The rebound by Gibson.
What was the defense? They got away with it.
You know, one thing you have to admire, respect, and appreciate with this Bulls team is they've had some really difficult luck with the injuries to Derrick Rose, but it was a no-excuse team. They never hung their heads. They competed, and they continued to win at a high level.
Here's Dragic. And that one hits back iron.
Man, a nice job there defensively, just getting a hand up enough to bother the shot.
Yeah, that was very nice. Impressive. It made it a much more difficult shot.
And the Bulls so resilient. A lot of credit has to go to Coach Tom Thibodeau. He gets them to play with tremendous effort every game.
Well, in the front office, too, Kevin. I mean, you think about the late first-round picks that they've turned into Taj Gibson and Jimmy Butler. Very productive two-way players that have held their own when Rose was out. I don't know if it's just me, but he's looked a step slow since the start of the quarter. His shooting has really suffered.
Wade can't hit.
The defense was ready for him that time, and they had to be. He is so powerful in the lane.
Rose kicks to Gibson. The shot by Butler. Nobody around. Finds himself wide open and drills it. Butler's got his first 3 points of the game. First quarter of play with about a minute and a half gone. Clark, they've been looking out of sync offensively.
You know what? A basket here would do a lot for their confidence.
A super defensive play. I mean, if that pass gets through, it's probably 2 points.
And he knew that. He knew if it gets through, it's a score, so that's why he sold out for it and got a hand on it.
None of the defenders wanted anything Clark to do with him on that jam.
And I do not blame him at all, partner. He was coming in with a bunch of steam and was ready to posterize whoever decided to get in his way.
All right, I understand, fellas, but come on. You've got to challenge him a little bit at least.
And so here is Miami after the Bulls pick up 2.
They're not going to run that play very often, but hey, they'll take it. Way to notch that 3. Well, it just seems there's something about lefty. I mean, whether it's Ginobili, James Harden, or the Dragon. That's Goran Dragic. Defenders seem to have a tough time getting on that left hand of those kinds of players and don't typically adjust well to keeping those guys out of the paint.
And the layup just gift-wrapped right there. I mean, he had a clear path to the basket.
Well, Chicago's gone just 1 of 4 from three-point range here in the first. And it's Butler missing. More to Rose. Some nice ball movement by the Bulls. Butler missing again.
He's jacked up a number of threes, but his accuracy has been lacking. Time to try something different, if you ask me. But this is how you completely rattle an opponent's rhythm.
Yeah, you know, such terrific on-the-ball defense to trigger the transition opportunity.
And it wasn't just the tough D, it was the exclamation point they put on the fast break with the slam.
Here's Muhammad. The tray. And the shot is good. And that's 10 points for Butler. And we'll get a look at how the hustle stat game has been going for the Bulls.
Boy, they've really amped up the pressure at the defensive end, guys, and have piled up the steals in the early going.
Yeah, and I've noticed also that their quick hands have led to a lot of forced turnovers. They're getting some points in transition as a result.
Now Whiteside, following the three-point attempt by Derrick Rose.
He's been wayward and just off on about everything he's put up in this period.
Outside Butler. From deep three-point range, cannot hit. Well, he'd go the other way with it. Outside Bosch. With some arc. There's the feed to Rose. 1:51 left in the first quarter of the game. That's a 2 from Butler. Miami grabs the miss. Whiteside's got 3 rebounds so far in the game. The kick out to Dragic for 3. And the Heat, another 3.
Rebounding's going to be the focal point for them in this one, fellas. I can feel it.
Yeah, it's a physical game, and so far the numbers show that they've got the edge on the glass.
And the first time out of the game called for Chicago. So for the Bulls, Mirotic is checked in for Muhammad. And Dunleavy's subbed in for Ejuan Moore. And a new group getting ready for Miami. Chris Anderson is checked in for Whiteside. Haslam comes in for Chris Bosh. Josh McRoberts has checked in for Luol Deng. And it's Chalmers in for Dwayne Wade.
You know, when you're coming off a championship, actually make that 2 consecutive championships, it's even more okay to be more concerned about the postseason than the regular season. You kind of figure out how to manage the regular season. He clearly took that approach, or at least it seemed that.
And the official signaled the backcourt violation. Not very careful there. 1:04 left to play here in the first. Stolen by Chalmers. The dish to McRoberts.
That is up-tempo basketball at its best. So much easier to operate in the open court when a steal triggers the break.
Yeah, it really does allow your offense to flow better. You can get out and run and get easy opportunities. Then everybody gains confidence. Well, what you said about the Heat, beyond the resting of key guys, they seem to be more concerned about the process of things than the result during the season.
Outside Butler. They need this. Butler can't get that one to fall.
Some of the shots he's taken have been real head scratchers. I mean, come on. He's out there playing like it's a game of horse at the park.
Shoots a 3. Rebound by the Bulls. And here's Rose. Takes a 3. Shot is off. Near the three-point line, it's Dragic. Welcome back, everyone. We're ready to get going again as this presentation of the NBA on 2K Sports continues. Players are topped off with Gatorade, hydrated, and ready to get going again as well. And when you consider how the Heat are doing, Stephen Clark, what are your thoughts?
Now, the key has been the rebounding department. This club dominating the paint area. And if this continues, they'll be in great shape.
Well, they've done 2 things. They've limited second chances, and they've been able to flex their muscle down low.
On the court for Miami here in the second. Chalmers and D. Wade are the guards. Hang out there with Haslam. And it's Anderson in at the center position. And let's now go to the sideline. We'll catch up here with Doris Burke. Doris?
Kevin, after opting out of the last 2 years and $42 million of his contract, Dwayne Wade re-signed with the Heat for 2 years at about $31 million. Kevin, if he hadn't already solidified his place as the most beloved player in Miami Heat history, giving up over $10 million to help the team compete has to seal the deal.
Incredible, Doris. He said home is where the heart is. That's great to hear. Thanks.
Well, what was supposed to be the triumphant return for Derrick Rose a year ago quickly turned into another nightmare season. Finally returning from that torn ACL in the 2012 playoffs, he managed only 10 games before tearing the meniscus in his other knee. Just devastating. We obviously hope that Rose can come back and put in a full season.
Stolen by Anderson. And here we go with Deng running it up the floor. And he bangs it home with one hand.
And that's the kind of play you just do not want to give up defensively. You lose the possession and give up a quick 2 at the other end. That's losing basketball.
And especially when you can't afford to give up any buckets. That pushes this lead up instead of going the other way.
You know, they've been outstanding on the boards, and it's a big reason why they've got a lead. Doing the dirty work down low.
Yeah, and Clark, you know, rebounding's a team effort. Everybody's boxing out. Everyone is accountable. They're doing a nice job collectively.
Whiteside's checked in for Anderson. Bulls trail by 10. The shot by Butler. Nobody around. It's good. This time the assist from Rose. Rose has got his third assist on the night. Good ball movement here by the Heat. Wade with no one around. Here's Chalmers, and the Heat get another bucket right there.
That's their third straight make off an assist.
Boy, the ball movement's been fantastic here the last few possessions.
Three-pointer, Butler, and out of bounds as the Heat gain possession. So Chicago going with an almost entirely new group. Each Moore, he's checked in for Gibson. Muhammad comes in for Pau Gasol. Kirk Heinrich, he's checked in for Butler. And Brooks subbed in for Derrick Rose.
Cutting into that lead a little bit. Way to finish.
And the basket is still shaking.
Oh, man, he's got so much power.
To the inside. Here's Whiteside. Moore with the steal. 3-on-3. Here's Heinrich. Miami grabs the miss. Tang's got his fourth rebound with that last one here tonight.
You know, one thing you have to give Coach Eric Spoelstra credit for is he's not wedded to just one approach. I like his ability to be flexible. You remember after the 2011 final, for example, he really went back to the drawing board and changed Miami's offense to their small ball approach, but also wanted to get LeBron inside more. The result has been a couple of championship rings. Well, here in the second, not as listless. They're showing some signs of life offensively.
Well, great sign, because after that poor first quarter, now they're playing better offensively, and they have the lead.
You talk about Coach Spoelstra staying open to new ideas. He spent time in the summer studying football coaches and their techniques.
Yeah, kind of an interdisciplinary interest in greatness. And, you know, that's what goes into building a champion. Spoelstra, very intense and focused, always trying to find an edge, even if he has to kind of step outside the box a little bit.
Derrick Rose is checked in for Chicago. Jimmy Butler comes in for Aaron Brooks. The Heat also with a sub. Goran Dragic is checked in for Mario Chalmers. They get a hand on it. The full court prayer. Out of bounds. Miami takes possession. And a little under 3.5 minutes elapsed in the second quarter of play. Whiteside with it. Moore's there. The offensive rebound. Whiteside, the pass to Wade. Over Rose. And the shot no good, a bit short.
He's tried to get it going, but the shots just have not dropped for him today.
Butler with the ball. He's picked up by Dang. And Muhammad kicks to Moore. Out to the right wing. From deep, Rose. And it's Dang with the rebound. Dang's got 5 rebounds tonight. Tipped away.
That's a great shot if there's 1 second left in the game.
Yeah, that would be the good time to do it. Not now, though.
Took him no time at all on that one. Butler's got it back down to within single digits for the Bulls. Here's Wade. They get it back. Here's Whiteside. And so he earns a trip to the line. Officials saw the contact, and he'll shoot 2.
Pretty bad defense. The offense get right to the rim, but a smart play to foul once he was there.
But you know what's going to happen. And they sent a message right there. Nothing easy inside.
A different look for Miami. Haslam comes in for Chris Bosh. And Josh McRoberts subbed in for Luol Deng.
You know that old saying, the more things change, the more things stay the same. That applies to Chicago. Once again, they were incredibly tough at home with their defense. Well, Dwayne Wade in this one, 10 points, and he's getting it done on the glass, too.
No, you're right, Clark. He's done some really nice work inside.
In a moment now to quickly take a look at the offensive approach for the Heat.
They've set the first half tone by really getting out in transition.
You know, they've also shown some real tenacity here early on tonight, and it's paid off with a lot of second chance points.
And a chance here to catch up with the 4th member of our crew, Doris Burke. Hi, Doris.
Well, Kev, the Bulls coach Tom Thibodeau, known as one of the most demanding coaches in all the NBA, he said the teams that are special always play with a rare intensity. That's just how championship caliber teams play. He added, I don't think you really feel pressure if you're putting everything you have into each and every day. Sound strategy, Kevin.
He's one of the best getting that kind of effort from his players, Doris. Thank you. Bulls making a switch here. Dunleavy's checked in. Chris Anderson is checked in for the Heat.
I think the game plan needs to change here, guys, if they're going to get out of the hole, because he is not helping their offense.
Another trip to the stripe for him, and I'll tell you what, a little bit of a different feel here in the second quarter. A little more banging going on.
This team is never afraid to get physical. I think they enjoy this style of play. Goran Dragic last season really became a premier offensive weapon, dramatically improving his shooting percentage. In fact, over 50% from the field and 40% from long range, while scoring 20 points a game. Only the third player in the last 2 decades to hit those marks. That's a nice play there. The more contributors this team can get, the better.
Bulls trail by 9. Now 8 seconds separating the two clocks. Outside Rose. Pulls up from the corner. Rebound by the Heat. Nick Roberts has got 4 rebounds in this game. Butler against Anderson. Dragic kicks to Haslett. The Heat rebound. The kick out to Dragic. Oh, and he just knocked down the buzzer beater.
And that is simply a dagger on the way to the...
So we've reached the end. Welcome back, everyone, to the start of the second half. Big margin on our hands, but we'll see if that gap narrows down in the third and fourth quarters.
Take a look at what Butler's done. He's got 19 points and just an amazing performance from downtown.
He is raining down the threes, guys. And you know how much I love to see this.
Jimmy Butler is out there with Rose. Then there's Nazir Muhammad. Then it's Taj Gibson. And it's Moore in at the 5. That's the 5 out there for the Bulls.
Might as well just take it into his own hands and make that big lead even bigger.
The shot by Butler, nobody around. That doesn't go either for Butler.
Well, as far as jump shots go, that's as high percentage as it gets.
I'm not sure how that didn't go down.
Shoots, and Muhammad sends it back. It's tipped. Stolen by Wade. Bosch dishes to Whiteside. That's good. Whiteside's got his first points of the game. Rose kicks to Muhammad. It's stolen by Dang. Here's Truggy.
Oh, ridiculous.
Tore it down that time. Boy, extremely opportunistic defense leading to those points there.
That dunk, Clark, coming within seconds of the steal.
Love the way they convert from defense to offense.
But that's what happens when you get all 5 guys on a string defensively, ready to react and make a play.
The Bulls shooting their first foul shots of the night here. And that one misses.
Well, the Miami Heat, since the Big Three assembled, have been a polarizing team. Some fans rooted for them, others rooted against them. Either way, they've been an incredible story for the league and have become just a huge draw around the NBA.
Brooks checked in for Rose. The Heat also with the Suns. Chalmers is checked in.
Everything working for him out of the half as they've hit 4 of their first 5 shots.
Chicago calls timeout. And now with the Big Three era coming to an end, Miami not perhaps one of the more hated teams around the NBA, but Clark, they are still at the forefront of the league scene in the East.
And while they might have lost, there's too much talent on this roster, and for the first time in a long time, they viewed as